Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. We are here at the round 8 for week 3 of the European Challenger Cup, brought to you by Tier Monster, hi-rez Studios, Owlhead Studios, and Discord. I am Merle. Joining me on the desk today is Tiger. And how are you doing today, Tiger?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
I am excited to see some more Smite. We've seen 2 games already that have been really good, and today we are, for our round of 8, going to be watching Losing Road versus the Juicy Gherkins. Juicy Gherkins are a team built from the Happy Gherkins team that we saw the past 2 weeks. Unfortunately, they had a bit of a breakup. 3 of the core members of that team now working on reclaiming as many seeding points as they can before the round robin stage of the Challenger Cup starts. But in the meantime, we're looking to pick some bans here. Naja and Huyi banned out for Losing Road, as well as Raijin and Susanoo being banned out on the side of Juicy Gherkins. Not really a fan of either of the thunderous Japanese pantheon gods.
Yep, the Thunder duo gonna go ahead and get banned out. And take a look at the picks. Losing Road gonna go ahead and draft their Kuang as well as a Janus, whereas Juicy Gherkin's going for that Soul and our first Nemesis of the games thus far.
Now, I unfortunately wasn't able to cast last week's European Challenger Cup. During week 1, we saw Nemesis in almost every game. Definitely a favored pick for more play, at least in the European side. That protection peel 50% able to offer a lot for a team, as well as the slows coming out and the reflect from Retribution dealing a lot of damage as the game goes on. Bacchus being picked up as well to counter that Cabrakan, not really going for any of the meta picks, necessarily meta picks we've seen so far. For a support at the very least, Cabrakan definitely more a favored solo laner or jungler, while Bacchus, we really only see him, at least in SPL, if Trixtank or Jeff Hinla is playing.
We haven't seen any Jing Wei, so I'm kind of confused as to why she was banned out. She's been able to be picked throughout, I think, every game that we've casted thus far. But she is banned out. Juicy Gherkins don't want to go up against her. And Rama banned out as well. Losing Road banning out the Odin, so no anti-heal cage for you. Or the On Her. And I kind of have a special place in my heart for On Her. I didn't really like him to begin with, but the amount of CC that he has on top of being a very just consistent ADC, it's kind of too hard to pass up. So Losing Road do not want to go against that. The ADC pool kind of dwindling here for Losing Road. They must have a card up their sleeve as Juicy Gherkins picks up the Apollo.
Scylla being picked up. At the moment, Xbalanque definitely still an option with Hui and Rom banned out. The only other top pick that comes to mind would probably be potentially even a Neath, but nope, actually going to the Xbalanque and Bellona being picked up for that solo lane. So we will be seeing a Cabrakan versus Bacchus matchup in that duo as
Big baby!
Vamana. Yay! I love this guy. Uh, it'll deal out a lot of damage. Pretty good matchup against Bellona. Both of them are lane bullies, able to deal out a lot of damage and also offer a lot of team utility. Bellona more so with the Eagles Rally and Bludgeon combo. Vamana just using the Sleeping Giant to disrupt as much as possible. So definitely a good pickup here. The Apollo versus Xbalanque matchup definitely goes into Apollo's favor early on, but if Xbalanque able to find a few kills, gonna get that what we like to call the 7th item slot with that bonus 30 power from collecting. Not someone you would want to mess with if he is ahead.
So both teams kind of drafting something we're not used to seeing. EU comps differ a lot from NA comps, so more than likely going to see that Soul in the mid lane, whereas Apollo going to go ahead and hit the duo lane with the Bacchus. But before we go, Nemesis used to be a joke. What has made her so relevant and such a high priority assassin in some of the games we've seen?
They buffed the ultimate so that no matter what rank it is, it will always steal away 50% of the enemy's protections. So what that means is you can have 200 like 50 plus armor on that Bellona going in, and they're trying to be a bully. Nemesis pops that, it's dropped to 125. You're able to burst her down a lot easier with the Vamana and the Apollo, and even Nemesis herself able to deal a lot of uh, damage, blow up those targets that you wouldn't necessarily be able to blow up otherwise, or that you'd be reliant on uh, something like Taolu Assault with its protection theft, or just a lot of penetration items like Obsidian Shard or uh, Chin Size comboed with like a Brawler Speed Stick or Void Shield to be able to deal that damage. So she herself, somewhat of a walking ultimate more in the early and mid game, but as late game comes, she gets her items online. She's able to trade a lot more effectively, especially if she picks up a stone cutting sword and offer a lot more team utility that way.
Well, we're going to see just exactly how potent she is in the team fights with Juicy Gherkins versus Losing Road in your round 3 European Challengers Cup series, brought to you by hi-rez Studios, Tier Monster, Owlhead Studios, and Discord. I'm Tiger. This is Merle, and we're going to bring you round 3 here in just a second. All right, ladies and gents, welcome to round 3 of your European Challengers Cup series. My name is Tiger, here to introduce the boys in the blue. On the left side of your spectator UI, you have a Losing Road, Unarity on Bellona, in that solo lane, Hestrix on Kuang in the jungle, Farrakrik on Janus in the mid lane, Fusify on Cabrakan in the support role, and Xbalanque with Xbalanque in the ADC.
Meanwhile, coming out of the top side of your map, the boys in red, the right side of your spectator UI is the Juicy Gherkins featuring Pentamaker on Vamana solo. So serious running Nemesis in the jungle. Zako Bannon running Soul mid lane. New Philosophy on Bacchus support. Helping out Josh XY1 as Apollo in the duo lane. If we take a look at the item starts here, just at the beginning, we have Bellona opting for the multi-pot option with the health pots as well, and a Death Toll, definitely looking to get as much sustain out of those bludgeon modified autos as possible compared to Pentamaker going for the Bluestone Poke. So Sirius has opted for Boots, while Hestrix definitely seems to be looking for that Polynomicon early on, getting as much damage out as possible. Soulstone and Purple Pot coming out for Zako Bannon. Meanwhile, Farrakrik on that Janus, going to be opting for a Vamp Shroud instead, going for as much sustain as possible, understanding that Stellar Burst is going to be dealing a lot of poke damage to him,
So
as
I'd
we
be
can see
lying.
already.
I'd be lying if I didn't see Pentamaker on Vamana and immediately think about Game Hunter from the launch tournament. But already have a little bit of aggression coming out from Juicy Gherkins. Actually, So Serious' presence was enough to go ahead and make Losing Road back off immediately after taking that mid camp. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those imps, but Pentamaker caught out a little bit, gonna be able to see Unarity in these inner jungle lanes. But for the most part, pretty standard start. Camp's gonna go to each side respectively, but Zako Banan a little bit ahead of Farrakrik, did hit 3 before the Janus did. Now Hestrix hitting 3 before So Serious, so gonna go ahead and be able to back off and do Kuang things in the jungle.
Yep, both of them just leaving lane now, going to clear out the back camps as best that they can. Not much happening at the moment. Little bit of poke battle. Pentamaker taking a lot of damage, but able to heal that up relatively quickly with pods as well. Bludgeon dealing a lot to him. Meanwhile, Unarity with the splash procs on the Death Toll, able to heal up a lot as they're dealing out the poke damage. Not able to find that bludgeon there, however, under the tower, taking a lot of poke herself.
I'm curious to see how Juicy Gherkins are going to compare to last week when they were Happy Gherkins. They have only 3 original members of Happy going to Juicy, so Losing Road is a team that we've seen in not only weekly tournaments, but Challengers Cup as well. So as a more defined team, I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to take down the boys in blue. Hestrix waiting for a gank attempt on the duo lane. Already New Philosophy has had to back off before because his health had been completely eradicated by Fusify and Xbalanque. But gank attempt gonna go ahead and not happen. Hestrik's going to rotate towards the mid instead because a lot of aggression coming out from Juicy Gherkins with the Soul and the Nemesis in mid lane against Ferricrick.
Yep, a lot of poke damage coming out onto Ferricrick. Stellar Burst usually will clip him at least for one of the two portions of the damage itself. So
Ooh, 1 second over in solo lane. Pentamaker in a pretty bad spot, and Ferricrick coming in with through space and time, gonna obliterate the big baby. Unarity has no mana, but with no worry with having nobody in the lane, gonna go ahead and go back for free. Beautiful communication coming out from Losing Road. That was on point.
yep, very nice play. Hearing the Eagles rally just from across the map as I was observing the dual lane slap fight breaking out. Pentamaker able to interrupt the bludgeon, but still taking a lot of damage. The Death Toll definitely playing a big factor into the amount that comes out on Unarity. So easy to understand why they were looking for a pick on him early. Vamana definitely able to be one of those headache gods the longer the game goes on.
I'm kind of seeing a trend here. Aside from that beautiful play from Losing Road, all of their lanes have been pushed back pretty hard to tower. Aside from solo, which is usually always a slap fight, Unarity and Pentamaker still looking pretty low, and at this point, Bellona doing a little bit better job, is level 7 and knows when to disengage, whereas Pentamaker hasn't had any help from his teammates quite yet. So Losing Road not looking so hot early on just because mid lane being pushed out. Or duo lane being pushed out.
Yep, new philosophy rotating over, helping out Xbalanque, and just keeping the pressure on to Losing Road as much as possible. Not able to interrupt the back, but still able to find what they can. Looks like they'll be trying to steal this red buff here. They might be able to get back in time, but it doesn't seem like Losing Road will be able to prevent this from happening.
Juicy Gherkins deep in Losing Road jungle, gonna go ahead and take that damage camp and whatever else they can find. XP camp still down, so Xbalanque gonna go ahead and back a new philosophy. Gonna just jiggle through the jungle and take out whatever you can from the lane.
Yep, so Sirius able to deal a little bit of poke damage, help ensure that they couldn't push that lane up as Xbalanque had backed. Now cleaning up the red buff himself for Xbalanque as New Philosophy picked it up when they stole it from Losing Road.
New Philosophy looking for Caspana fight, not going to be able to find him. The Jaguar Rising has been activated, but we have a rotation coming in road thanks to Janus. New Philosophy going to get caught in the Cabrakan ult, and a lot of damage coming out as he goes ahead and intoxicates everyone. Supernova is down. Josh going to be able to take out Hestrix on that Apollo, and New Philosophy going to take out Caspanify. Fusify in a bad spot as well as Xbalanque gets the last hit for there. Now Juicy Gherkins, beautiful rotation coming in from Losing Road, but Juicy Gherkins able to bunker down and go ahead and take it. Losing Road gonna lose 3 members, and Juicy Gherkins gonna look at this Gold Fury.
Yep, New Philosophy ended up backing, so it's a slight bit of a risky play, but they're able to successfully rotate between the damage, able to clean this up relatively easily as Ferricrick tries to come in. Beads to guarantee that he doesn't take any CC, able to escape, but nothing else able to find from that. In the meanwhile, off in the solo lane, Pentamaker, albeit low, was able to finish off Unarity.
So Juicy Gherkins showing a pretty strong showing. New Philosophy using his CC to the test Xbalanque, sending out a lot of just stellar bursts for stellar damage at this point. Early on, Soul hits like a truck before you have any protections.
Yep, if we look at player damage at the moment, she's sitting number 3, just under the solo lane slap fights. So definitely shouldn't be underestimated in the amount of damage she can deal. Supernova definitely played a big part into Juicy Gherkins winning that early team fight that broke out in the duo lane.
New Philosophy coming around the end, gonna get spotted out by Ferricrick, but the burp is gonna be good and actually stun out the Janus. The knock-up is good as well, and Xbalanque gonna get zoned out by Fusify with that stun. Now, Stellar Burst not doing too much to anyone in particular, but gonna have that little disengage. So far, so good. Juicy Gherkins pulling ahead a little bit, but for the most part, Losing Road playing pretty passive.
Yep. Juicy Gherkins just looking to find what small advantages they can, keeping the red buff down now as they try to block out Fuse of 5, force him under the tier 2 tower as they chase after it. Able to find it, Pentamaker still very low. Unfortunately not able to escape. Hestrix taking the slow from the Nemesis ult, forced to disengage from Xbalanque as New Philosophy getting very aggressive. Gonna avoid the execute, but still fall. Unfortunately, going to Xbalanque as that begins him stacking his passive.
Juicy Gherkins pretty deep in losing road territory right now. Gonna go ahead and back off. Maybe try to take this damage camp, even with Xbalanque here. Nope, gonna go ahead and leash that and split off in their own respective ways. Losing road were able to take New Philosophy out, but Bacchus was getting pretty aggressive. Now, you usually can get aggressive on Bacchus, but I think we can both agree that was a little too deep.
Yeah, definitely more so of a desire to chase kills rather than just get the pick and disengage. Very greedy play coming out from New Philosophy, but still able to find a good pick onto Fusify. So,
speaking of greedy, Unarity taking Pentamaker's blue buff, leaving it there for now, but also chasing Pentamaker in between his two towers, just to keep out for safety. So Unarity going to take their own blue buff at this point, and losing road. That's kind of the only standing powerful ground they have right now is Unarity in the solo lane. Everything else seems to be going a little bit downhill when it comes to the boys in blue.
yep. As it stands, things relatively even. Pentamaker lost his tower relatively early on. It's still pre 10 minutes going on right now. But
Yusufai getting exploded from
his
Seiko
impact on the
Banan,
game
but we have
shouldn't be
the Janus ultimate coming out. Pentamaker, pretty bad spot, getting a little bit of health, trying to take out Hestrix before he gets taken out himself, and So Serious gonna get credit for that last kill. Barely missing Pentamaker with that unstable vortex, instead gonna take a chunk of damage from Seiko Banan and So Serious. A couple of pings coming out on the map, looking towards this middle right jungle area here. Not sure what they had planned, but so far it's working for them. They're up 7 kills, or up to 7 kills, 9 minutes and 35 seconds into the match. New Philosophy looking for Unarity, who is kind of the only stable member right now, and Seiko Banan going to get scourged out.
Yep, as it stands, small golden XP in favor of Juicy Gherkins here. Just trying to poke out, steal what they can, and just take the small lead and try and exacerbate it as much as possible over the course of the game itself. So, kills playing a small factor, but definitely the 3 that losing road were able to claim helped minimize what lead that they could have potentially had.
Yeah, every little bit counts, even if it's a mid camp, even if it's a kill, even if it's a buff camp. Every little bit counts, and everything counts for losing road now, because the last thing they want is Gherkins to go ahead and take the small lead that they have and turn it into a snowball. So Gherkins going to go ahead and take this left mid camp, uncontested. Fair Crick just a little bit too late to try and contest.
Yep, just want to take a moment to note the difference between Jungler's Hestrix going for the Polynomicon as well as the Pen Boots, pretty much to be expected. Nemesis, instead of going for Void Shield, opting for Runic, reducing the amount of magical power that the enemies have while also reducing their attack speed as well. Now looks like she's probably going to go into a Jotun's Wrath to ensure that So Serious has ultimate up as often as possible.
Gherkins looking for a Gold Fury right now. Faircrick coming in with the ultimate. It is going to get leashed, and Faircrick going to take a little bit of damage off of losing road, but now Xbalanque is here as well, and Cabrakan not far behind. So Serious doing a good job of keeping the peace, and Hestrix going to finish out Pentamaker, but Gherkins going to secure their own Gold Fury as Unarity goes ahead and tries to continue to chase. New Philosophy and Josh should find safety in the comfort of their own tower, but Philosophy looking pretty low. Burp should be good, but Faircrick coming in with that unstable vortex going to blow up the Bacchus.
Yeah, really incredible play. Pentamaker still just trying to keep up in farm. Definitely played a bit in the part of forcing Kuang to focus onto him. Definitely helped ensure that his team was able to get the Gold Fury, though I don't necessarily think that his death was worth it. Now it looks like he's going to be building into the Hide of the Main Lion on top of the Breastplate of Valor, guaranteeing that nobody can really fight into him as So Serious, Pentamaker, and Xbalanque finding, forcing out full supply, able to clean him up, and now looking potentially for Unarity as Hestrix comes in.
Hestrix still looking for blood. There are 3 members of Gherkins that are low. Xbalanque really the only one that's staying, however. Pentamaker chasing pretty hard into the lane, and a bludgeon gonna bring him down to size. But Pentamaker gonna go ahead and activate that big baby. Still taking a lot of damage. Hestrix gonna be able to finish him off now. He's 2, 4, and 3. Not a really good start for the solo laner here. He's gonna eventually start to feel that when he's falling behind this Bellona. So Gherkins, once again, continuing to push out.
Yep, at the moment, XP between these solo laners still relatively even. Gold relatively even as well, only about 50 gold difference between them. But at the moment, really just going to be interesting to see how it pans out, whether or not it goes Pentamaker able to keep that small lead that he has and exacerbate it, or if Unarity is able to punish him for his high amount of aggression, especially when it comes to fighting into an out Kuang.
Losing Road, I'm going to go ahead and split this speed camper 3 ways. Mana camp going to be coming up soon, so Unarity can go ahead and take that for himself. And Gherkins, looking at this left and mid camp. So far, nobody really there to take it, but we have Janus coming in with the portal. And Xbalanque going to go ahead and get out of dodge with the Disapparate, but Hestrix going to get a nice, tasty, albeit pretty heavily basted new philosophy with the Bacchus death. So now Hestrix going to go ahead and back with his newfound spoils. Level 14. And Ferricrik just hit level 14, so getting pretty high up there. 13 minutes, 58 minutes into the game. Losing Road 7, Juicy Gherkins 8.
Yep, only about a 700 gold difference at the moment, too. So very close game going so far, sort of like what we saw between Team Whatever and Blizzard Wolves last match.
Xbalanque forced to jump away. Xbalanque and So Serious are a deadly combination for the Xbalanque. Going to be forced to jump away because that was a lot of damage, and even then So Serious got 1 hit on him. Hestrix standing the test of time here with that Stellar Burst, not taking as much as Xbalanque would hope.
Yeah, I gotta say, Juicy Gherkins definitely out for blood, considering that they are a new team this week. They don't retain any of the seeding points from Happy Gherkins for the past 2 weeks, so definitely looking to claim as much as they can.
Yep, So Serious looking at Hestrix pretty hard. Fusify going to have a beautiful wall up, but New Philosophy going to be able to jump over it and then intoxicate everyone. Josh coming in with the Apollo Ultimate, looking for Ferricrik in the background. So Serious going to get that last kill there, and now Hestrix caught between a rock and a hard place. Fusify on the receiving end of the Nemesis ult, going to take a lot more damage with those protections gone, and Hestrix going to be able to teleport to the safety of the tower, but Juicy Gherkins aren't stopping here. Like you said, they're out for blood and they want that tower too. Pentamaker gonna take out Xbalanque, and now Hestrix in a pretty bad spot. The Eagles rally is good, and So Serious gonna take out the Dragon King himself. All that's left now is the Unarity gonna be able to find some solace in the safety of the tower, but for now that's been a pretty hard disengage, and Juicy Gherkins have a tower for free.
Yep, if we take a moment to look at Juicy Gherkins' actives, they have 2 shells and a meditate. All 3 of those actives were popped over the course of this fight, in addition to Pentamaker getting a beautiful knock-up to help ensure So Serious's escape, able to find both towers.
The momentum game is strong for the Gherkins. And
yep, and in just that short moment, going from a relatively even game, 4,700 experience and 4,200 gold in favor of Juicy Gherkins right now. So the risky plays actually paid off. Able to force out and kill Hestrix relatively early on in that definitely paid out in their favor, considering the amount of damage that he's able to output with that Polynomicon.
Gold Fury is back up, so that is a nice tasty target for any team that would like to take advantage of it. Gherkins gonna go ahead and walk towards it, play that ward game with no ward there. Losing Road are pretty much aware that they're doing it now. Gonna have that rotation over, and Pentamaker doing his best to go ahead and keep that zoning. Not doing a good job keeping Unarity pinned down. Actually going for that backline and Xbalanque. Gold Fury has been leashed, and now We have the Supernova coming out from Zako, still trying to get away from Unarity. That heal is not going to be enough, but he is going to be able to take out Zako Banan with the Eagles rally going to come down through space and time. Is not going to hit anybody, but it's going to get members here. Faircrick going to go ahead and go through. New Philosophy going to take out Unarity. Now Faircrick's pretty low, and Xbalanque taking out that low Apollo in the backline as well. Fusify doing his best to add some CC and damage with the Tremors, but So Serious still hot on his heels, and with that slow, not going to be too terribly in his favor. Pentamaker's still in the backline, but he's going to get blown to shreds because Xbalanque going to get that kill and continue with those Xbalanque stacks.
Yep, Red Road started, not exactly sure why. This game's still relatively even. Now 2,500 experience, 3,500 or so gold. So Serious taking a lot of poke damage here as New Philosophy comes in, able to find the kill onto Fusify, but very low himself, popping the meditation to give himself a little bit of breathing room as Hestrix continues to follow him down. Shell popped as well, Unarity coming in, So Serious able to use the Retribution himself a little bit of breathing room, but still going to fall to the bludgeon as Zako Banan just throws out Stellar Burst, trying to get that slow off as well, and disengaging with Disapparate.
Losing Road are in a fine position to go ahead and take this Go Fury. Josh still poking his nose around, as well as Zako Banan. Might be able to take it, but has to time it just right. Zako Banan and Josh going to go ahead and start. Stellar Burst is down, and Losing Road going to still be able to clinch it for themselves. Josh going to have a fantastic mez, keep Unarity out of the shenanigans for now, and save his own skin.
Yep. Wonderful play coming out of Losing Road, still able to secure that. It was a very close one with both Supernova as well as So Beautiful coming out from Juicy Gherkins. So definitely nice that they were able to secure that in their favor, claw back the gold lead into about 1,200 gold, able to keep them going on. Take a moment here while things are just the farm fest going on right now, and no real fights breaking out. Nemesis has opted for an Odysseus bow, which is kind of interesting. Gives a lot of attack speed, but not really much else. So it's going to help her with her jungle clear, in addition to the fact that she opted for the Runic Shield for more utility, but she doesn't really have a lot of trade potential right now, or even a lot of tankiness, more relying on Retribution, her Reflect, to be able to survive fights. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out for her.
When she hits 20, should she sell that, since she's not going to need much more help to finish out these damage camps, or would she keep that for the entirety of the game?
You have the potential to keep it for the entirety of the game because it does give AoE pressure as Through Space and Time drops in. So Serious taking a lot of poke damage, getting stunned by the Seismic Crush as well as an Unstable Vortex in the face. Ultimate coming out from Xbalanque, not able to find anything is Josh XY as he drops down with his ultimate across the sky. Pentamaker a little bit far forward, just trying to deal what poke damage that he can, but not able to find anything yet. So
looking for something, not going to find it, but Hestrix going to be able to find Pentamaker around this corner as Juicy Gherkins continue to look for anything that they can take, and this tower is right on the menu. Pentamaker and Big Baby looking for somebody. Unarity is the target, followed by Fusify, but Unarity's on the receiving end of the Nemesis ult, so you have to be careful there. Gonna get blown up really quick as the Supernova is good. Pentamaker still in prime condition for the execute. Hestrick is gonna take it, and now he's gonna be able to come down wherever he wants, possibly onto Fusify and Xbalanque. Instead, he's gonna look for Josh in the background on that Apollo, and Fusify, Faircrick, and Xbalanque still looking for anything that they can find. So maybe what they thought was going to be a tower for Gherkins, maybe a tower for Losing Road if they keep it up.
Yep. Definitely very smart play coming out. Hestrix able to get that execute off definitely played a big factor. It feels like the meditate from New Philosophy wasn't as on point as it could have been. So definitely played a factor into their loss there.
New Philosophy looking for the burp. The jump is not going to connect with anybody, and Fusify going to get a little bit of a stun on Philosophy, but we're not going to see any further fights there. I think it's interesting that Losing Road were able to take the first tower off of Gherkins pretty early on, before the 10-minute mark in the solo lane, but now Losing Road only had, they have the complete duo lane is gone. There's no towers in duo lane. All they have to do is sneeze, at the middle tower, and it's gone. And then solo tower is almost gone as well. So there's still quite a bit of experience in gold that that Juicy Gherkins can get from taking out their towers. When losing road looked pretty strong, but Juicy Gherkins definitely showing face for now.
Yeah. The early aggression definitely paid out into Juicy Gherkin's favor. Able to clear out the duo lane towers definitely means that they have a little bit more potential pressure for the Gold Fury, though it didn't necessarily work out in their favor last time because of the sloppy team fight that broke out. Just the extended brawl that lasted for a very long time. Pentamaker chasing after Farrakirk uh, as he was playing those mind games with the portal. So definitely played a factor into that.
Losing road taking Juicy Gherkin's speed buff at the last second with the Scourge.
Aggressive play. Definitely just a back and forth to a degree of slab fight. Zako Bandit forced to use Sanctuary as well as Disappariate to successfully escape that. Farrakirk throwing out an unstable vortex but unable to find anything. Meanwhile, Pentamaker popped the ultimate, Sleeping Giant, unable to find anything from that as Narity that's ulted. Execute coming out onto Pentamaker successfully. Through space and time, dealing a bunch of damage as well. Belly Flop able to clean up Unarity in addition to the Supernova as Fusify teleports in under the tower, but able to just run away as Hestrix comes in trying to find anything else but unable to.
Yeah, Hestrix looking for something in the backline. New philosophy possibly is. Doesn't look like he knows he's there. Now they might have a little bit of a slap fight, but Josh being forced to go ahead and back and so serious, looking for an experience camp. Something in the meantime while losing road. Look at this mid tower. They're not going to be able to keep it. It's gone. So why risk losing somebody else over the possibility of saving a tower that somebody just has to sneeze at, like losing road zone mid tower? But Boys in Blue looking at the Gold Fury so serious. New philosophy here immediately. Gonna try and find something, but Fusify with a beautiful ultimate, but Juicy Gherkin's gonna be able to steal the Gold Fury from them, and now Josh looking for Gaspanify, gonna be able to run away, and now Fusify stuck between the members of Juicy Gherkins. Seiko Banan gonna finish off the Cabrakan, and now somebody's gonna go sneeze on that tower.
Yep. That was probably one of the best across the sky ultimates I've seen or experienced just in my play. Now Fire Giant being optioned, now the Gold Fury is off the table here. A lot of poke damage being taken, but Shell being popped, ensuring that they are able to heal a lot. Magi's on behalf of Unarity, trying to ensure that they're able to get off that bludgeon damage as Pentamaker pops into the big baby form. Sleeping Giant, Juicy Gherkin's able to secure it. New philosophy with his ultimate, able to clean up Gaspanify. So very nice play coming out from Juicy Gherkins, capitalizing off of that across the sky. The double kill in addition to the Gold Fury steal. We take a look at the graphs now. What was a relatively even game still, now 5,200 gold in favor of Juicy Gherkins in addition to 4,000 experience, although that's starting to play a little bit less of a factor as all of them are nearing that 20 level mark. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, losing road, the only level 20 at the moment is Unarity. The lowest person experience-wise is Fusify, sitting at level 15 once again, 2 levels behind New Philosophy. This seems to be the story of the game so far today, is that if you can focus out the support early, just to cause that small bit of a deficit.
1 second, looking for some action here. Unarity trying to find Pentamaker. Hestrix going to be able to find him without even having to use the execute. And now Juicy Gherkins are here in an attempt to, since they're here, might as well go ahead and take this tower, because Unarity is not going to stick around for now. Fusify, as mentioned, a couple of levels behind, but nothing that a little bit more experience won't fix. After a while, the playing field is going to be level, and it's just going to come down to gold and how many items you're behind.
Yep, at the moment, the gold difference definitely playing a little bit more of a factor now, as So Serious and Josh XY both hitting level 20 off of that mid lane. So be interesting to see how this plays out, especially with the next team fight. Fire Giant still on a team of Juicy Gherkins, if only for about a minute more.
Yep, getting the stuff after the stuff, as you mentioned. F. Dot put it. Losing Road gonna go ahead and clear out their jungle. Juicy Gherkins have done a fantastic job of doing the same to not only their jungle but losing roads as well. So the last thing you want to do is give Juicy Gherkins any kind of foothold to continue on with their lead. What had started as a pretty even game is now starting to kind of slip in favor of the Red Trunks on the Chaos side. So Losing Road, we've seen them play passive before in other games, whether they were Challengers Cup or weekly tournaments, and sometimes that's been their downfall. So I really want to see a lot more aggression coming out from Losing Road. Otherwise, Gherkins are going to raffle stomp them.
Yeah, Hestrix now has Soul Reaver in addition to the Polynomicon ready, so definitely should be looking for an aggressive play against anyone trying to get a pick as much as possible. Here we see unable to find it onto the Ziggo Bandit, so really
We got this mid fight coming out. Hold on 1 second. New Philosophy gonna go use a fire on the receiving end of the Nemesis ult. Josh gonna be able to find out one, but two. Unarity is also down. So Big Baby gonna be taken up by Hestrix from the backline, and Faircreek gonna get out of dodge with the portal. So once again, we see another tower fall. Two members of Losing Road down, and only one for Juicy Gherkin. So these are still working in Gherkin's favor. New Philosophy and crew looking at this last tower and the last bit of tower defense before the Phoenixes are the only thing that can save Losing Road.
Yeah, definitely seems like Pentamaker throwing himself to the wind more as a bait out for Hestrix than anything else, blowing both the Soul Reaver and the Polynomicon when he fell in ultimate form. So recognizing that he is more of the priority threat than anything else, albeit he still isn't optioning for a lot of magical defense. All he is relying on is the stacks from High to the Urchin, opting to pick up an Executioner, most interestingly, on top of his Frostbound Hammer.
So we're kind of at an interesting moment. Gold Fury is about to be up in 22 seconds, and Fire Giant's about to be up in a minute. So Juicy Gherkins have the potential to go and hit one, and then go hit the other as her Fire Giant buff just ended. I think it's better to go ahead and take this tower down while you still have that buff, which they did, and now they have the opportunity to get it. Now Losing Road have to know these timers. They have to know it's coming up. Gold Fury is now available, and Juicy Gherkins already doing the rotations towards it. Every little bit counts to make that inch a mile, and Gherkins have been aggressive and have farmed enough to make it happen.
Yep, Juicy Gherkin's able to blow this up relatively quickly, but Fire Giant about 30 seconds away is the rest of Losing Road. At the very least, Unarity and Faircreek are over here. Unarity now backing though, but they definitely understand that Fire Giant's about to be up. They do have some wards in the area, but nothing.
Hopefully we won't have as long of a
crazy.
dance around the Fire Giant as we've seen in other games before. I don't think Gherkins are going to let it last that long, to be honest. They want to go ahead and take out Losing Road quick before there's any casualties on their end, and then go in, maybe even take as many Phoenixes as they can, and then try to take out the Titan. They're not one for filler, and they're not one for fluff. They're here to win, and they want those points so they can go ahead and get their names on the board before the brackets aren't open anymore.
Yep, just trying to claw what victories they can, push on hopefully to the finals. But that, of course, depends on this game as well as the semifinal game as well. So the dance has begun for the second Fire Giant of the day. 5 Gold Furies have been taken, 4 of which in favor of Juicy Gherkin. So
it's not going to be up for another 3 minutes and 40 seconds, which means Juicy Gherkins have plenty of time to go ahead and try to take this. Already we're seeing a little bit of damage coming out. The ultimate on Fusify is good. A new Philosophy going to blow him up. Supernova not going to be able to take anybody out, but so serious. Going to get a lot of health back from the shield. Eagle's Rally is good, as well as the space and time going to shred through some of Juicy Gherkins. Unarity going to be able to find safety through the portal, and Big Baby not going to be able to chase. Instead, they're just going to continue with that health. Maybe get a couple of hits on Hestrix, who will then teleport out. And now, tides kind of turn, but Josh going to take out Xbalanque and then take out Hestrix in the meantime. So even though Gherkins are low, they're still doing a fantastic job of just picking off Losing Road one by one. At this point, everybody's ultimates are down, everybody's disengaged, and now Juicy Gherkins are relatively free for this Fire Giant.
So serious, and New Philosophy have been incredibly good when it comes as Celeburst finishes out Farrakrick there. Fire Giant once again falling in favor of UC Gherkins. They've been incredibly good in using both of the shells at the right time, staggering them instead of just stacking them up, as doesn't provide any benefit to popping them at the same time. As well as So Serious using Retribution to heal up as much as possible and prevent that execute coming out from Hestrix. So very
So
smart and intelligent play, and good communication coming out from Juicy Gherkins. They've definitely at least prepared someone for this strategy of the double shell, and it's definitely working out in their favor.
yep, and they turned not only the Fire Giant in their favor, but took 3 members of Losing Road with them. So, unfortunately for the boys in blue, that was kind of a pinnacle moment that they really should, they really had to place a lot of effort into. Still, we're seeing a little bit of a slap fight between Pentamaker and Fusify. There's a 3-level difference between the two, so I'd be careful. Even though Fusify is tanky, you don't want to lose your support before the big fights start at the Phoenixes. You want to fight in the Phoenix, get as much Phoenix damage onto Gherkins as possible. Gonna go ahead and pull, but Fusify on the receiving end at the Nemesis ult once again. Gonna get shredded, almost dead. Getting out by the skin of his teeth, but Philosophy gonna trade out with the other support. Pentamaker in big baby mode, gonna go ahead and get a little bit of HP back, and Farrakrick just trying to do what he can from the side. Gonna get out of dodge before Pentamaker can come and take him out, and Xbalanque finishing off the Bellona. Now Hestrix gonna be able to finish off So Serious, and a well-placed Unstable Vortex from Janus going to shred some of the HP. Pentamaker going to be able to take out Hestrix, but Farrakrick going to be able to get rid of that soul. So a little bit of an equal trade-off. 3 for 2 so far, and Pentamaker making it 4.
Yeah. Xbalanque definitely trying to kill Pentamaker, but not able to find it. The amount of physical protection he has from both the Breastplate of Valor and the Meaning Lion, in addition to the fact that Xbalanque doesn't really have a lot of lifesteal, all he's relying on his Aussie means that it's never going to really be a good trade. And meanwhile, 3 remaining members of Juicy Gherkins looking to find this Phoenix. Nice ult coming out from Fusify to block it off with the walls, forcing the disengage, but beyond that, not much else going on. New Philosophy getting interrupted with a basic from Farrakrick, just to say, no, you're going to have to back off a little bit more before I let you go. But
I've never seen that come from a Cabrakan. That was absolutely genius. I never would have thought of that. Throw in your ultimate in front of it so nobody can hit it. You have to go around into the backline where Fusify can start to stun you and do whatever the heck he wants for those couple of seconds. It was absolutely beautiful. That was what got Gherkins to disengage, and that's what saved the Phoenix for now. They still have another one up. One is down, but Fusify definitely bought them some time.
I really hope that other teams watching this take note of that, because that was just brilliant, state of mind and recognizing exactly how effective that ultimate can be. Not so much as a disruption tool for displacing the enemy, but just forcing them out. Because at the moment, what is it? Ultimate's level 4, so it would take 5 hits onto each of those walls before they can be broken. So very smart play coming out from Fusify.
I know Gherkins just stole the Gold Fury, and I know we're talking about that ultimate, but it was just so fantastic. And the placement, but Gherkins continuing down the lane, looking for the last 2 Phoenixes before the other one comes up. Gonna go ahead and try to finish this off as early as possible with another Gold Fury under their belt, and with Fire Giant still available on all but Xbalanque. We're gonna see Philosophy go ahead and jump. Not gonna find anybody, and Pentamaker's stuck in the ultimate from the Cabrakan. Hestrix's gonna finish him off, and Gherkin's gonna say no thank you. Maybe we should go back and buy with that gold that we just got, and maybe avoid any casualties. Xbalanque taking a lot of damage from Farrakrick. That Unstable Vortex is chunking. Gonna force the disapparate just to make sure. Hestrix chasing pretty hard. You don't want to lose right now. But Xbalanque forced to use the Sanctuary. Unarity jumping in. Xbalanque has nowhere to go, and Unarity gonna finish off the soul. Xbalanque barely getting by the skin of his teeth as Gherkins continue to attempt to disengage. So Losing Road kept onto them like a tick, and it worked in their favor.
Yep. Fire minions pouring in, able to be quickly cleaned up by both Farrakrick and Hestrix. So not a real lot of poke damage, only about 1,000 damage going onto the Titan at the moment. Still sitting at 9,000 HP. Gonna slowly heal that up. Meanwhile, so Sirius using the Odysseus bow, getting a good bit of work out of it. They've opted for a more DPS-oriented build with the Wind Demon as well as the Deathbringer, where in Week 1, a lot of what we saw was like a Void Shield, Jotun's Wrath, going for more of that defense-oriented, that second tank. But with Pentamaker as tanky as he is, and as disruptive as he is, it definitely allows So Serious to be a little bit more on that damage side and pump out a lot. So I like the item choices coming out for Juicy Gherkins. They've definitely practiced this a little bit before, and they understand exactly what matchups they're going into.
Fire Giant is up, so it's going to be the next point of contention for the boys in red. Boys in blue, the losing road, want to make sure they don't actually follow their namesake. They're 8 kills down. Gold heavily in favor of Gherkins. Experience heavily in favor of Gherkins. But we've seen crazy comeback plays before.
Yep, definitely not unused to it. Soul River there being popped by New Philosophy, taking the damage from the Water Illusion. So actually relatively good trade in favor of Juicy Gherkins there, preventing a lot of the damage potential from Hestrix using Dragon's Call with the slab, unable to find it there.
Unarity's looking for, going to be able to push Josh out of the way as well as Zako Banan. Unarity looking pretty low though, going to get punished for the deep invasion. Fusify going to be able to get out as well, thanks to Janus with that ultimate through space and time. Now, So Serious looking at Hestrix, going to get obliterated by the boys in reds. Need the Fire Giant at this point. They want to go ahead and continue road as they can. Unarity next on the list at this point. Pentamaker chasing. Fusify looking pretty low as well because Spanify forced to jump away, and Fusify is stunned out with the burp.
Tower gonna fall just in a moment as So Serious, so Zago Bannon, and Josh XY all exceptionally good at sieging into towers at this point. Small bit of pen from So Serious, but that Odibo really providing a lot of autos coming out in a very short amount of time. Farrakhrek looking to find what he can, a decent portal just to help zone, but everyone is backed, so just resetting at this point, definitely looking for the Fire Giant. Hestrix still down for about 15 more seconds as the dance once again begins to see who get Fire Giant.
I don't think Losing Road want it, but because of the Bellona back, they're definitely not going to contest it just yet. Gherkins are back, they have full health, full mana. Absolutely no reason why they can't take it and still provide the peel and zoning for the boys in blue. I'd love to see Unarity jump in with the Eagles rally, which they did now, and Gherkins still going to be able to take it for themselves. Pentamaker going to take out the Bellona Punisher for once again jumping into the fray. Now Farrakhrek getting out of dodge before anything else can happen. Hard disengage coming up from Losing Road with the loss of their Bellona, and Gherkins have full control of the map right now. All five of them have Fire Giant, and they're pushing down this slate hard. They want these Phoenixes and they want this Titan now.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to end as quickly as possible. Pentamaker popping his ultimate after taking the Soul Reaver damage, just adding as much pressure as possible. Spanify coming in from the back, slap fight with Josh XY1, able to deal a lot of crit damage, able to finish him off. Fantastic.
He's going to solo this Phoenix over on the right end at least, but left Phoenix still stands, middle Phoenix still down, and right Phoenix still up as well. But Gherkins want to change that, want to do it whatever they can to make sure that it falls. They want to finish this game early on because Losing Road starting to get a little bit of an upswing when it comes to these team fights. So Pentamaker keeping Spanify out of the way, and Supernova coming down, taking a lot of damage, but not going to finish off anybody. Hestrix going to bump So Serious into the air, but that meditation was popped. Going to be able to get a little bit of health from it. Now So Serious getting chased down, but Spanify is going to get that kill, and once again, another stack onto his passive. Fusify going to be able to capture New Philosophy in the Trimmers, and the Eagles rally is good. Zako Banan forced to use a Sanctuary, and Farrakhrek gonna finish him off. So once again, a successful defense from Losing Road. Gherkins are gonna need more than just the Fire Giant buff, and the Fire Giant buff and some muscles to finish off Losing Road. Hestrix finishing off New Philosophy. There's one member remaining, so take advantage of the map as you can. Losing Road.
Yeah, Losing Road does have a lot to chew through. However, best bet, honestly, is to just try and take out this mid tower here and even push for the mid Phoenix. I think a lot of the reason why Juicy Gherkins wasn't able to have a successful siege there is because Josh XY unfortunately got soloed by Caspanify, taking a lot of crit damage. Actually, no, not even crit damage. The Chinsai coming out in addition to the raw pen that Xbalanque has, dealing a lot of damage. He wasn't able to find the lucky crits that he was looking for, but consistent damage beat him out.
And Josh only has the Aussie on the Apollo, so he wasn't able to get any lifesteal for the occasional hit that he was getting off of the Xbalanque until his health started to dip. So at that point, it wasn't enough because Xbalanque was overpowering him quite massively. So he should have went ahead and regrouped with his team instead as soon as his health hit half. But instead, he wanted to try and solo, and unfortunately, that didn't work out for him or the Gherkins.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate play. I mean, you did have Pentamaker disrupting 3 other members of Losing Road at the time, so Middle Phoenix now respawning. Fire Giant will be up in just about a minute and a half. Gold Fury up right now if people were willing to take it, but definitely doesn't seem like it's the focus. Burning that Phoenix down again. Definitely the premier option for Juicy Gherkins looking to end this game.
We pretty much got to the point where experience doesn't necessarily matter. Once Fusify hits level 20, everybody's on an even playing field aside from the items. Now, gold's still 14,000 in favor of Gherkins. They weren't able to shut Losing Road down before the playing field became even, but the item's still going to be good as we see a lot of shenanigans happening. Faircrit going to take out Josh XY. Bellona jumping in with the Eagles rally. Not going to be able to finish off anyone. Faircrit deep in the backline. Xbalanque and So Serious taking a lot of damage as Faircrit can't go through his own portal because it went away. There it is again, but forced to use his Sanctuary, so he does not have that in the upcoming team fight. Unarity's still looking for new philosophies. Once again, Gherkins get pushed out on the defense. Xbalanque safe within the Sanctuary, but as soon as he comes down, Caspanify is going to claim his life. At this point, I don't want to see Losing Road defending anymore. I want to see them on the aggressive because every
they just
defensive.
Got down the mid lane.
Yeah, they just need to go.
Once again, they were able to clear it up Josh XY incredibly early on into the team fight, stopping a lot of the damage coming out. Unfortunately, forced to disengage as New Philosophy and Pentamaker come right in. But Fire Giant, 15 seconds before it respawns, so definitely the next big contention point here. If any pick happens in favor of either team, that's really going to determine exactly which way this game goes. I mean, at this point, gold relatively irrelevant. It's just being used to buy pots at the moment as everybody's full build. Everybody's level 20 now, so this is quite literally anybody's game. It is whoever makes the first mistake.
And whoever knows how to capitalize on it as well. We've seen Losing Road make a lot of mistakes, and Gherkins weren't able to capitalize on it, whereas Losing Road were able. They haven't really done the same either. When all of Gherkins have been down, they didn't go and get a tower. They didn't go and continue pressing their lead because they were too low. So at this point, it's going to come down to strategy. New Philosophy going to get a little bit of damage from Fusify and the Janus, respectively, but not going to be enough to finish anyone off. Fire Giant still remains, but with the key player Unarity going ahead and starting to back, I'm not really sure who's going to start to pull ahead because it's been back and forth. 45 minutes, 25 seconds into the game, Losing Road 26, and Gherkins sitting at 30.
Yep, a lot of close games that we've seen so far today. Outside of game 1, which was a bit more of a stomp than at least I expected, but Blizzard Wolves versus Team Whatever, now Losing Road versus Juicy Gherkins, definitely close and contentious fights. Fire Giant being started up by Juicy Gherkins, as So Serious is the one that they've opted to have be their zoning. Fusify and Unarity definitely going a little bit deep, ultimate coming out from Xbalanque, not able to find anything. Unarity getting blown up, able to escape with the Eagles rally. Fusify now taking a lot of poke damage as Hestrix able to clean up Josh XY1. Seiko Bannon getting cleaned up with the dragon dropping down now.
Pentamaker going to be able to take out Unarity over in the left side. We have Xbalanque coming in, attempting to do some damage control, whether he's going to continue trying to take out Pentamaker is a question for the ages as he gets completely blown up. Pentamaker doing a little bit more damage, but Farrakirk here to save the day, going to be able to take him out with the Unstable Vortex and Portal combinations. So, not necessarily what Juicy Gherkins wanted. They only lost Unarity in all of this fight, and Gherkins lost Pentamaker, Zako, and Josh. So they're in prime position to go ahead and try to take this Fire Giant if they want, but instead they're too split. Some are back. They may go ahead and try it now, but with So Serious lurking about, they're going to have to be careful either way.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more of a risky play here. I wouldn't necessarily call it free, but it appears they'll be able to take it relatively cleanly here. Fusify forcing out So Serious and New Philosophy a little bit lagging too far behind here.
Losing Road finally putting themselves on the map, taking their first Fire Giant of the evening, whereas New Philosophy blown 2 to pretty much no avail. After this middle Phoenix gets full health, it's like nothing ever happened. Now, Juicy Gherkins still have a couple of towers that Losing Road are going to have to take, but with everybody on their team having the Fire Giant buff but Unarity, it should be a pretty easy take. Caspanify is going to be able to shred, Farrakirk's going to be able to shred, and Hestrix going to be able to shred through them as well. So hopefully Losing Road are going to get a better foothold.
Yeah. Gold Fury now definitely an option to consider, but instead it looks like they're going to be sieging up, trying to clear out those dual lane towers here. Just sort of mirror what's been lost for them very early on in the game. New Philosophy and the rest of the Juicy Gherkins backing off here, sitting behind the tier 2 as the tier 1 falls almost immediately.
Yeah, it didn't take any time at all, and the tier 2 is going to fall without so much as an issue. Hestrix waiting in the jungle, whether they were expecting to gank or not. Instead, they're going to go ahead and rotate towards this mid, take out all these towers at once. Why not? They're putting the Fire Giant buff to better use than Gherkins ever did. So Losing Road starting to step away from their namesake and hopefully turn it into a winning one, since they're actually capitalizing on the map.
Yep, just capitalizing, using the Fire Giant, cleaning up all of the towers, resetting it basically Phoenix to Phoenix, reinforcing the idea that this is anyone's game. So
Serious sitting on a pot, want to go ahead and activate it whenever the shenanigans actually start. And everybody's got enough gold, so why the heck not? We saw Bacchus run around with one as well, so it's not become a who has the fancier accessories that might be able to help them in a team fight. With all the towers down, this game is practically even, just waiting on the first tipping point.
yeah, I mean, even looking at the graphs, you've seen the huge dips. Now still relatively even. I mean, experience is completely null. It's within 1,000 gold difference, only still about 5,000 in favor of Juicy Gherkins, but honestly, it's not that much.
Game is approaching 50 minutes, and hopefully we're about to see it start to tip in somebody's favor. Fire Giant buff not going to stay around for much longer. Pentamaker going to be in the back line, going to go ahead and try to start this fight against Losing Road. Maybe even Gherkins would follow up with it. But Hestrix and Unarity going to go ahead and try to pinch Pentamaker, going to be able to dash out of any potential danger. And now the assault on the Phoenix begins. Josh activating his ultimate, going to go ahead and go into the air as the Apollo. Going to go ahead and come down on Caspanify and Fusify respectively. The Tremors are interrupted with the jump as well. Josh going to be able to take out Hestrix and Fusify at the same time. And then So Serious taking out Caspanify. And now Farrakirk, it's a tasty target too, activating both the Sanctuary and the portals and the Purification. Farrakirk is getting out of dodge very quick. And Gherkins pushing them out just as well as vice versa happened. So
Yep,
both teams very equal.
Yeah, really what I think twisted that fight there in Juicy Gherkin's favor was New Philosophy was able to get off a 3-man belly flop just
Yeah, it was
after
beautiful.
Apollo had landed. So, huge factor in determining the outcome of that battle.
Farrakirk is the only one that has his Fire Giant buff at this point. It's not really going to help. He and Unarity are the only ones left. They're never going to worry about the other Titan or the other Phoenix is here. Unarity activates the ultimate, going to be able to Eagles rally all over everyone, but Zako Banan going to take out Farrakirk, and eventually the Titan. This 51-minute game has finally ended with the Gherkins on top. Going to be able to move on to the semifinal matches, and Losing Road are knocked out.
Wonderful play coming out from Juicy Gherkins. The early aggression definitely paid out, but the defenses, especially against Josh XY1, coming out against them really were painful. Hestrix able, sitting at 13-8 over the course of the game, able to clean up a lot of those high priority targets, interrupting Pentamaker a lot early on in the game. At one point, he was about 5-9 on the score line. In the meanwhile, Fusify, outside of the brilliant play using his wall to interrupt the Phoenix push, sitting at 0-10, really kind of unfortunate that he was able to be focused out so much. Didn't really have the impact that he really wanted to. Out of 29 kills, he was only present for 14 of them. So a lot of time spent dead on his part. Really definitely did play a factor in what
Juicy
exactly went wrong
Gherkin,
for them.
say Juicy Gherkins doing their best to go ahead and continue moving up in the ranks instead of, since they don't have their same namesake, the Happy Gherkins. Juicy wants to go ahead, continue on, get those points to qualify for the Robins. But this was the quarterfinals for the European Challengers Cup, brought to you by Tier Monster, hi-rez Studios, Owlhead Studios, and Discord, respectively. Gherkin's going to go ahead and move on. Losing Road had been knocked out, and we're going to bring you a semifinal match here in just a second. Stay tuned.